Hey, hello, welcome everyone. Welcome again to our e-learning portal. And today we are going to discuss about the while loop. As in the previous session, we have covered the for loop, and we have seen like how we can use statements in the for loop. So in today's video, we're basically going to discuss about while loop. What is while loop? What are the use cases of them, and also the examples. So let's quickly get a discussion about that part. So here you can see like as our today's agenda. First of all, we have to cover the while loop, then the use case of while loop and the examples on them. So basically in this session, we basically have talk about while loop, like when we have to use while loop, what is the definition of that, and in which particular scenarios we can use while loop, and also the use cases of while loop, like in which particular scenarios we have to use that, and how it is differ from for loop also. And then we will see the plenty of examples for better understanding how we can work on that. So let's quickly get an idea about that and then we will move further. So guys, talking about while loop. So yes, while loop as a definition I can say like the loop which will run based on the condition. Like when we have a condition based on that, if a loop is running, and that is called a while loop. Like let's suppose I'm saying that if this part will happen, then you have to run the loop. Now we don't know how many times that particular condition will get true. Either one time, two time, 10 times, or infinite times. We don't have any idea about that. So when we have only a condition, not a number of times of repetition, then at that particular case we can use while loop. Like let's suppose I am saying that if the user is giving a positive input, like a positive numbers, then use while. Then like take another input. If it is giving a negative number, then stop that loop. Now in that condition, we don't have any idea like the user will give a positive number input till 10 times, 20 times, or 5 times, or 0 times. So in that particular conditions, we can use while loop. The basic syntax of while loop is like in the while we have a condition, just like the if. Now we know like either that condition will be true or false. Now after that we have a loop body. Now this body will execute if the condition is true, and that will automatically get outside the loop when the condition will get false. So the scenario in which we don't have any idea about the number of repetitions, at that scenarios we will use the while loop. So when we don't know the number of repetition, then we use while. When we don't have any idea about the number of repetitions at that particular condition, we can use while loop. Like while a is greater than 10, then we can have a loop body. That's it. Now we don't know at which point the value will be get false or the condition will get false. So these are the particular scenarios in which we can use the while loop. So let's try to see the examples on them, like some basic syntaxes codes, and then we can move further. So let me open my idle here. Yes, guys. So here I'm just defining a variable a equals to 0 while the value of a is less than 10. Just print value is a, and that's it. Now you can see what happens there is, first of all, the value of a will be 0. Now if 0 is less than 10, that condition is true, it will print the value that is 0. Now after that we have to change the value from 0 to 1, so that this particular value will increase, because when we are using the for loop, in that we have a range function. Now range will automatically take a step of 1, although we can change it, but yes, by default it will take the range of step of 1. Here we don't have any kind of conditions. How this value will get changed? So for that, what we will write here a equals to a plus 1. Because if we don't write this thing, what it will do, it will run that loop for infinite times. We don't have any idea how many times this loop will run. So that's why I'm just using that statement so that I can change the value. I can increase the value by 1. Now let's run this code and see what will be the output. Now here you can see guys the output, so it is coming from 0 to 9. That is the same as the for loop output, but yes, right now we are using a while loop for doing that part. So this is the way how we can use the while loop in Python and how we can run that code. Now let's try to make one more code here, which is I want to take the input from the user, and if the user is giving positive input, then I want to take the input again. But if the user is giving negative input, then I will stop the loop. Now, what is the condition for the negative number? So we can say like if the number is less than 0, then it will be a negative number. So I will say like first of all you will take input from the user. Now I will say while the a is greater than or equals to 0, which means if the number is positive, what you have to do, you have to print number is a, and again you have to take input. Why? Because if the number is positive, then you have to take the input again so that it will change the number. Because see, like let's suppose, let me just complete that statement, then I will explain it to you. Like let's suppose you have taken the number here, let's say 12. Now based on the condition 12 is greater than 0, which is true. Now it will print the number, so the number is 12. After, if you're not taking the number input again, it will fix the value 12 for the variable a. So that condition will true for every time. So if I take the input again, you can change your input like from 12 to let's say 23. Now the condition will be 23 greater than 0. This is again true. It will print the value 23 here. Now it will ask again for the number now, and at this time, if, let's suppose if you are giving -5, it will check the condition that -5 is greater than 0. Now this condition is false, so it will come outside the loop. Let's try to see it out. So I'll run that module again. Yes guys, so here I'm giving the number, let's say 12, 21, 34, 5, 64, and if I'm giving let's say negative of 5, then it is basically stopping our loop. So whenever I'm giving a negative value, it will automatically stop our loop. Now in this case, we don't have any idea how many times our loop will run. It can be either for 2 times, it can be either for 10 times based on the input. So this is the particular scenarios where we can use the while loop. So let's take one more example here for the while loop. Let's suppose we have to make a program in which the current number should be greater than the previous number. Like let's suppose by default I'm taking a number 0. Now you have to take the input. Now if your current input is less than your previous input, then it will stop the loop, else it will run the loop. So let's take that scenario on the notes first of all for a better understanding. So what I'm saying is, first of all we have to take an input here. Okay, let me just select. Let's suppose my starting input is 0. Now I'm saying my next input should be greater than that. So if I'm giving 12, so the condition will be 0 greater than 12. Sorry, 12 greater than 0, that is true. If I'm giving let's say 16, that will be acceptable. 23 acceptable. But if I'm giving 20 now this condition is false because your current value is less than your previous value. So I have to create a scenario like this. So what I can do for that? So what we will do here is, first of all, we will assign this value as a previous number, as a pn, that can be called as a previous number. Now we will take input and give it as a name of current number. Now what will my condition? My condition will be our current number should be greater than our previous number. That should be our condition. Now what I will say, if that condition is true, then I will change my previous number. I will change my previous number, which is right now 0, to the current number so that our previous number will set to 12. Again, I will take input in my current number, this CN. Now the previous number 12 is stored in PN and 16, which is the current input, is stored in CN. Again, I will check for this condition. If that condition will true, again I will change the previous number value. So this is the condition, this is the scenario which we have to do here. So let's try to do it on our Python idle. So here you can see, like, I will first of all divide p-num, that is our previous number, and I will say my current number will be integer input current number. Now while my current number is greater than my previous number, I will print current value is cnum, that is the current number, and then I will change my previous number to my current number, and that's it, guys. Again I will take the input in my current number, and instead of writing the number, I will write current number. That will make more sense here. So that's done. Now let's try to run this code and see what will be the output. So as the input here, so here I will write the current number is, let's say, 12. So 0 is greater than 12. 23, that's also correct. 21, that is also correct. Oh, sorry, no, 21 is not correct, because after 23, 21 is small than that. So now in this case also, you can see we don't have any idea how many times our loop will run, but it's running based on the condition that your previous number should be less than to your current number. So these are a kind of scenarios in which we can use while loop, and we can see like how these loops will work. So I hope you guys have get a better idea of while loop, how we can use that part. Plenty of examples on them. Now in the coming session, we're basically going to discuss about the nested loop, which is in the next module. In this module, we have to basically discuss about the for loop and while loop. And after the nested loop, we will get to define one more video in which we will discuss some questions based on the for loop and while loop. So you guys will get a better idea how we can work on that also. So definitely stay tuned, guys. We will definitely going to learn more about Python and see all the parts there. So as our today's agenda, we have successfully completed like what is while loop, how we can work on that, then the use case of while loop, in which particular scenarios we can use that, then examples, how we can use a while loop, what is the basic syntax for that. Now after that, again we have a thank you session, guys. So feel free to share your feedback or any kind of suggestions you may have for the improvement, and if you have any questions or doubts, leave in the comment section. We will definitely there to help. And till the time, please try to do more practice on Python, do some questions on that. It will give you a better exposure about Python, how you can work on that part. Okay then, bye bye guys, take care, have a nice day.